Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In the last few months, I have been amazed at the emails and calls that we've received in my office in support of this program. Thank you. And I will continue to fight the evil left even more in the future. And I mean it. Thank you. Here comes our beloved Kate Smith, and God bless America on this Thursday, July the 30th. Come on, Patriots, call in. Good morning. Thank you very much, Kate, and good morning on a beautiful day. Going to be warm. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a very safe, clean environment and the best in tires. Don't forget, too, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Randy. You always do a great job on that. Appreciate it, buddy. Call back in a little bit, and don't make it so late in the hour so I can talk to you a little bit. All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Thank you. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental. Roger's already there. The staff is already there. They're already serving people with the best of tools and equipment at K&R Rental. Absolutely at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Right there, smack dab on the Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss them. No. I mean, they've got all your tools and equipment for all the different jobs, everything, both long and short-term rentals. So please remember the best working for you, K&R Rental. Number to call, questions, give them a jingle, 678-3122. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Keep that water bottle handy for the next couple of days because you're going to need it. Here's what's your weather forecast. We are going to be in a heat advisory through Sunday, and today is no different. Sunny skies, hot, high of 96. Mostly clear for this evening with a low of 59. Tomorrow, another warm one. High of 100 with an overnight low of 60. For Saturday and Sunday, this high-pressure system is still going to hang around. High of 97 with an overnight low of 60 for both days. That's what your weather for 7th Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. She puts together a good weather forecast. It's going to be warm, and we urge you to take care, caution, and drink plenty of fluid. Stay in the shade if you can. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. I mean, hard to miss them, I'm telling you that. They've got everything for your tools and equipment to finish any kind of a construction or project. Get a hold of them today. K&R Rental, 678-3122. Want to also remind everybody about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. More so today than ever before with the forecast. Standby caller. I'll be right there. Ramsey Heating and Electric for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. Now, they open the doors at 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they've got all the air conditioning filters. So please don't suffer, don't sweat, don't sit there and just not enjoy the day. Be cool. Check out Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning to you, Zeb.
My friend.
You know, several years ago, you and I were talking on the radio about how the people didn't put their shopping carts back where they belong. And I told you then, if you ever see me not do that, I want you to chastise me on the radio.
And I would, too.
Yes, you would. But anyway, a California corporation has solved this problem. It's called 99 cents only store. They're a dollar store, and they're really good at what they do. They have 9 of these stores in Las Vegas.
Uh-huh. Quickly, Keith.
How it works.
Okay.
To get a shopping cart, you have to put in a quarter. You get the shopping cart, and then you do your shopping, and then when you get ready to park it, you put it back in one of those parking deals, and they give you your quarter back.
There you go. I love it. I was waiting for Deanne the other day, and I saw, and it was in Burley, as a matter of fact. I'm not going to mention the store or anything else, but I'm just going to say I was waiting for my wife, and I saw a lady push her grocery cart up to her car, empty the cart contents into the back seat, and then turn around and push the cart down in behind some other vehicles, and she got in and drove off. And I thought, lady, how can you be that dumb? And somebody's going to come up, maybe not notice that they have a cart behind their car, and back over it, causing damages, scratches, bumps, bruises, and everything else to the vehicle. Why are people so lazy?
Well, I don't know, but this would really solve a lot of problems.
It would help a lot. I agree with you. And so you are now appointed as the official shopping cart guru, and we want a weekly report on how things are going.
Okay, well, it will be coming to Burley here eventually because the corporation that owns Smith is going to be the first one of the big change to implement.
I think it's a great idea, and it's going to create some responsibility from people. Keith, I've got to run. I'm way behind today because I got a ton of things to do, but thank you for that point. I appreciate it.
Well, I want to keep that blood pressure down.
All right, buddy. Well, you're not helping. Thank you very much. Hey, don't forget our friends at Dino Septic Service. And, of course, you know, they've got all new equipment, including cameras that can go down into the piping and everything and find the problem. Oh, yeah. They're high-tech. Don't forget they can do all the septic tank pumping and the liquid waste removals and the backhoe services and the sewer and sink drain line cleaning. Oh, yes, they do. And they do a good job. How do I know? Because they've worked for us. Fast, fair, friendly service. Call them at 436-6526 or 678-1638 with a big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service. These are good people. Want to remind you, too, that the Minidoka County Fair is off and running. Boy, they're here for the whole week. And, of course, All-American Flair at the Minidoka County Fair. And what have they got cooking on this Thursday? Let's just tell you, the Junior Rodeo continues tonight at, I believe, 7 o'clock, I believe it is. And let me see if there's anything else going on for this evening. They had a great concert last night, and then tomorrow night and Saturday night, the open rodeo, and I know they're going to have a ton. I mean a bunch of contestants for their rodeo. Don't forget all of this, all the exhibits, all the great food at your Minidoka County Fair with some mighty nice people, too. Come to the Minidoka County Fair. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm going to rapid fire some things here real quick this morning. We are blessed, and we'll go toe-to-toe with anybody on this that disagrees. We are blessed in this area to have some of the greatest legislators representing us in the halls of our Congress, House of Representatives, and our senatorial crew. And I just want to say that one man in particular stands out, is a friend to me. He's always been there to provide information, etc., and that's Senator Kelly Anthon. He's gone through some tough times health-wise in the last couple of months, but I absolutely am so proud to say he's not only my friend, but I'm glad he's representing the state of Idaho. He's a man of family values, of which we need more of today. And I'll tell you what, we need that more than ever. And I'm going to always advocate for family values and decency. This man stands up for it. And so I'm just giving him a shout out because he is such a great guy and has gone through some trouble here the last couple of months, health issue wise. And I just support Kelly Anthon. There, I've said it. I will not backwater on it. That's the way it is. Now, this is something that upsets me. Why does it upset me? Because it almost sounds like you and I and everybody else has got to start wearing a hazmat suit or start living in a bubble. Forget about work. Forget about going anywhere. Forget about going to the store. We can't because we've got to live in a bubble. Now Dr. Anthony Fauci is coming out and said wearing goggles or eye shields in addition to a face mask would provide better protection with the coronavirus. And he said theoretically you should protect all of the mucosal surfaces, eye, nose, and mouth. So if you have goggles or an eye shield, you should use it. I'm drawing the line right here. I absolutely can't stand it in the hot weather to wear a mask. I will when I go into a business. I've stated this 1,000 times. I will when I'm in a congregate of where people are. But don't start telling me I need to start wearing goggles and eye shields and everything else. Just get the doggone vaccine. Put your efforts together for a vaccine that's going to cure this, stop this, or slow this down. I'm not going to live in a hazmat suit. Your thoughts, please. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is insane. Let's not forget our friends, Magic Valley Carpet at 613 D Street in Rupert. They're just off the square with all your flooring needs. Carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminates, tile. They've got it all. They've got it all, and their installation is guaranteed. Really good people, nice people. Magic Valley Carpet in Rupert, and they're a big supporter of the Minidoka County Fair and Rodeo. Thank you very much. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One other thing that just yesterday came out in the newspaper, and it just absolutely makes me furious, that an Idaho inmate by the name of Adri Edmo had a sex change operation that we, the taxpayers, paid for. This very heinous criminal had sexually abused a 15-year-old boy. He committed the crime as a male. He should be serving time in prison as a male. We should not be furthering money to him to change his sex life and sex living style while he's in prison. This is absolutely a heinous act to me, and I think absolutely the people that said okay and gave a wink and a nod to do this, they should be held responsible, and if they are put in any position by elected ballot, thrown out. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb. We're having chili dogs at the Burley Senior Center today, and all of the trimmings, and it's only $5.
All right, and people that want to take it back to their home or their office, they can call ahead, and I know that today you have the number memorized. What is it?
Oh, everybody's listening to see if Joe remembers today. Well, I try 878-8646.
There is a man that knows, a man that has gone to the mountaintop as the guru for the Senior Center. Thank you, Joe Taylor. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Thank you much.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Really, let's, like Doug always says, let's support our seniors. I mean, they've done so much for us. Let's just turn around and make sure we support them. By the way, you heard the weather forecast, and make no bones about it, it's going to be warm, and people might say, like me, it's going to be doggone hot. Snyder Surplus at 116 South, 200 west of Rupert. Leland says, stay cool. Be cool, just like Leroy Brown and Crocodile Dundee. Be cool, man. Porta-Cools, swamp coolers on wheels. You can roll them all over the place and make sure everybody's comfy. And they've got the big shop fans. I mean, these are big dudes. You turn them on, look out. They'll feel it over in Pocatello. Don't forget, Be Cool. They've got all of these at Snyder's Surplus, 116 South, 200 west of Rupert. And Leland Snyder and the crew are waiting to serve you to be cool with the Porta-Cools and the shop fans. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The Mars or Bust rocket is taking off today. I think maybe it went off earlier this morning, or it's going to be off at about, 8:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30 back Eastern time. I can't remember. It's going to take about 7 months. Wow. 7 months to get to the Martian surface. It's going to Mars. 7 months. And then when it gets to the surface of Mars, the rover will send back incredible information. And believe it or not, there are already people in this country that are ready to shove over $250,000 to go on a space shuttle to Mars. Now, hopefully, it won't take 7 months to get there. Can you imagine the cabin fever and the kind of a dismal aspect of people trying to get along in a little shuttle for 7 months? Oh, my. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Yesterday there was an article in the paper. 123 inmates, 8 staff positive for virus in jail. Mm-hmm. Did you read that article?
I only had a chance to glance at it. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on it. I know the gist of the article. Go ahead, please.
It says the 123 inmates and 8 jail staff tested positive for the virus.
Right.
Of those, 3 inmates have shown symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
3 have shown symptoms.
Okay. And your point is what, Lorna?
My point is the tests. Why are they showing people positive when they have no symptoms?
You know, I'm going to have Dr. I forgot his last name, Artis. Dr. Artis that was on my program yesterday. He's coming back next week by popular demand. I had a bunch of phone calls and emails yesterday of people saying, please put him back on next week, and we're going to address this issue of the testing. You are not the only person that has a lot of questions about testing and who should be tested, what the ramifications are, testing positive, what about seniors? I mean, I know that you and I and probably many, many others have been exposed, if you want to write that word down, to this so-called coronavirus. I'm not diminishing the harmful effects of the virus, but I'm sure that many of us have been exposed to it. What do we all do? Go back to, like I said earlier this morning, living in a bubble or wearing a hazmat suit? We can't live that way.
No, we can't. And goggles, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm drawing the line in the sand right now. I will, like I said earlier, Lorna, and you know it's true because I did at Lunch Bunch, wear a face mask, and I will adhere to that in a closed congregate opening or setting indoors. But wearing a face mask or face shields and masks and everything, I'm drawing the line, and I'm telling Fauci and everybody else, spend more time, more money, more effort in developing something that's going to stop this insane virus and leave people. They can't live that way. You cannot live that way.
No, we can't continue to live like this.
God bless you for your call. Hey, Lorna, thank you, and stay healthy, my dear lady. Thank you very much.
I am planning to do that.
All right. Too. God bless you. And she brings up a really good point about the testing and everything. So we are having that doctor back on next week. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. I went in for a medical checkup here. It's been about 6 weeks ago, and I asked the attendant and her nurse, actually, I said, do you get a report of how many people are in the St. Luke's system with COVID-19? There were about 160 cases reported at that time. And she said, well, as of today, there were three in the hospital, and so we get all of this scared to death with cases, and yet, like these prisoners, almost none of them have symptoms. And this is what's been the case. You know, this idea of staying in isolation, we can't go on like this, and it's just ridiculous. And then I've got to bring up again, you know, I've never seen an attack on a drug like hydroxychloroquine since the battle between creationism and Darwinism, basically. It's just incredible. Fauci gets out there and he becomes the god of science, and the guy has been on every side of the issue, and yet the real scientists, the real physicians are actually using the product on patients. Somebody's going to be tried for murder before it's all over because they're denying, and I see the state of Ohio now says you can't use hydroxychloroquine, and when they were, so patients there are going to die needlessly, and it's all part of the narrative to keep this thing going. And the bottom line, of course, Deb, is destroy the economy, get rid of Trump.
All right, hold it. Stop. I want to get in. I want to get in here, Adrian. Hold on. Yesterday with Dr. Artis, it became emphatically clear to me that when you talk about remdesivir and some of these other chemical supposed cures of the coronavirus, and then they started talking about the hazards with people with kidney conditions and everything. I did my own little research on it yesterday, and everything Dr. Artis said yesterday was absolutely spot on. That's why I'm going to invite him back. But as far as the testing, as far as the scares, as far as no school openings, as far as don't live your life, as far as don't go to your job, as far as don't visit with your neighbors, and as far as wearing goggles now and a face mask, no, I've had enough.
I think, and we should use the example of South Dakota. They never shut down. They're going to have a surplus in their economy this year. And the state of Idaho is going to be in serious financial trouble. I mean, I'm serious. And it's just all about this nonsense. Everybody's going to be exposed.
Yes.
And the idea of kids getting back to a classroom with a teacher, they have found over in Europe, as you probably already know, the teachers that have gone back teaching full-time with their students, the students are not transmitting it to the teachers.
That's right. I've got another call waiting, Adrian. I've got to get everybody fair on this program. I've got to treat everybody fair, and I appreciate your remarks because they're absolutely spot on. I am not going to subject myself to literally putting on a hazmat suit to go get a gallon of milk. Thank you very much for your call.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I'm a scientist, and I look at real numbers instead of just fact from fiction. They keep saying, oh, this is a fact. And another fact is that these hospitals, if they put a COVID-19 on the little tag on your toe when you die, then they get paid more. And
all right.
Say, well, that's not true, but it is true.
I got to run. Thank you.
This is why these numbers are overinflated. Probably the actual death total is probably half of what they're reporting.
Thank you very much.
Anyway.
Adrian, thank you. God bless you. Red Sean, thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. He's right. And I'm getting a little bit vocal about this more so than ever before. And I know I'm going to have area doctors and health clinicians and everybody come down on me, but come on. Now we got to start wearing goggles and face shields. And like it said in one of the national reports that I'm holding right here in my hand, pretty quick, it'll be hazmat suits and living inside a bubble. That's right here in my hand. Let's not forget our friends at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Absolutely delicious food. Delicious food. And whether you're there for breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time, all the desserts, nice people serving you. And they are. We have been blessed to have our Zeb's Lunch Bunch there for a long time, quite a few years, and they just get better and better. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley. You stop in and see these really good folks today. All right, let's go down the list here. We've talked about Mars. Now, we have a call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, on the 5th of August, I'm scheduled to have surgery on my sinus at St. Luke's. Okay, 2 days before that, I have to report to the hospital, and they will do a complete COVID test on me to see if I'm eligible for the operation.
Yeah.
Now, how can they tell in 2 days?
Well, you're asking questions, and I think any talk show host of any radio program that steps out of bounds and says more than what his education on the subject has been bona fide is a fool. I'm not going to do that. I don't know. I don't understand all this, and that's why we're going to have the experts on, and I'm not going to listen to a bunch of crackpots. I'm going to listen to experts that really understand about the testing and the hazards and everything. But when I listen to Fauci, and I've got to be really honest with you, Keith, this man has done a complete circle around the tree. He has absolutely gone from no face mask, this, that. He's changed his position. A lot of it boils down to they just didn't know about this coronavirus, what it is, how it reacts, etc., etc. And for the condemnation to come out against the President of the United States about the coronavirus, what a bunch of fools that are making that assertion.
It's all determined by the flip of the coin. They get up that morning, it's heads. We'll say they don't have to wear them. If it comes up tails, we don't have to.
Well, you know, yeah, I'm sick and tired of listening to so many variables. It's about time that these doctors, like yesterday, I was very enthused about what Dr. Arts had to say, and especially about cloth masks and the dangers of breathing and inhaling the stale air and the germs and the bacteria that builds up inside those masks and everything, very dangerous. And for people that have heart conditions, I'm very concerned about that. So there's a lot of things that I'm not going to adhere to. And as far as wearing goggles, no, I'm not going to. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate your call.
I don't know who's paying for this, for me to have this check, but it is totally unnecessary. They could take my temperature the day of the thing, maybe come an hour earlier, and they take my temperature and everything, and go ahead with it.
Yeah, I'm concerned about people like you and others that need surgery, whether it's knee surgery, or whether it's a hip surgery, whether it's a shoulder operation, back surgery, whatever. Maybe it's something to do with a heinous disease of cancer or whatever, and they're being put on the back burner because of this so-called pandemic. I'm fed up with it. And I say to medical science, get to work harder than you've ever worked before. Stop this. And you know what? I'm also damning and condemning the Chinese government for allowing this to happen. And I think a lot of it in the word allowing, it was permissible to let it loose. They were afraid of losing their power in the world. I don't care who's offended by that. That's my feeling.
And now they're got people spying on us in our laboratories and everything to steal this information.
Yeah.
And it's a crime.
Yeah. Well, naturally, it's a crime. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate your call again. Thank you very much. I can't remember if there was another moo of the cow. Sean, did we have another call? Yes, we did. Thank you. Caller, I'm going to ask your indulgence. Stay with me just 30 seconds. Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts. Absolutely the best of folks serving you with these locations. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin and Napa's location. They've got all the Bobcats, all the shapes and sizes, all the trenchers, all the scissor lifts. They've got all those big Doosan wheel loaders and excavators. Oh, I mean, they've got the equipment to get any job done. Absolutely lifting, digging, pushing, and carrying. They can help. They will help. And if you don't know how to run it, they'll teach you. Barry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and Napa. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Talk to me, caller, please. Are they there or are they not listening? Evidently, they're not there.
The phone's still connected. They should have been there.
Well, one thing, caller, hang up on them, Sean, because I can't just leave dead air like that. And call back, caller, if you would. And if you do call, do not get sidetracked and start talking to somebody else when you're on hold, please. Please, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Now, as if they hadn't gone too far already, the National Football League says that they will fine their players. They will impose a fine on their players if they go to any indoor activities, including church services. I got to really watch what I say here, because I'm so mad, and when I get mad, I'm inclined to let the old jaws just go up and down, possibly more than they should. But fined for going to church? What's going on here? This pandemic has done all it can do to hurt Christianity in this country. Yes, I'm going to come out and say it. They've done all they can do to hurt Christianity in this country. And right now, there is a little bit of feedback and talking back to governors and governments. I'll give you an example that I'm absolutely supporting. Many California churches are moving their services to the beach, outside, right by the ocean, in defiance of Governor Newsom's closure of their church activities. Now, over 5,000 people are saying at one particular location on the beach, they're saying, let us worship, and we're going to worship. And they're telling Governor Newsom in California, back off. You've gone too far. And finally, Christians are showing some spine, and they urge church leaders everywhere to get brave and stop being a doormat. And it's about time. It's about time. Give me a call, please. I'd love to hear from you at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Again, if you call, be ready to talk on the phone, please. Give us a jingle on the landline, if you would. Oh, by the way, I need to get this out about the McCloskey case back in St. Louis, in case you're unaware of what's going on with a prosecuting attorney that is absolutely worthless and should be thrown out of office. The St. Louis prosecuting attorney, Kim Gardner, and this is something that we all should be concerned about. She was using the ads for her fundraising to get reelected. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's right. Attorneys representing Mark and Patricia McCloskey have filed a lawsuit, possibly against this prosecutor, Kim Gardner. Here's what they say. The St. Louis couple who displayed firearms after a group of protesters broke a gate and approached their private property want the St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner disqualified from the case after she cited her prosecution of the McCloskeys in a fundraising email for her reelection campaign. Oh, my gosh. You talk about illegal. 2 fundraising emails from Gardner's re-election campaign clearly referred to the McCluskey case. And the email went on to say that President Trump and the governor are fighting for the 2 who pointed guns at, listen to this now, folksies, peaceful citizens during the Black Lives Matter protest. Oh, my. Yeah, it really looked peaceful to me to have a bunch of thugs and punks kick in a steel gate and go on private property. And you can't blame the McCloskeys at all for getting weapons and standing there holding them when these marchers, supposedly peaceful, said they were going to kill their dog and kill them and burn their house. Oh, yeah. They were perpetrators of peace, all right. Yeah, you betcha. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The lunacy that's going on in this country has absolutely got to be stopped. And then that leads me to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. When you talk about lunatics, you got to put her at the top of the list, and then Ilhan Omar, Presley, and Rashida Tlaib, all the list. You can make a list that's as long, and you could roll it up like toilet paper. Her world of green energy looks like it's going to be accepted by the Biden campaign, and the unbelievable costs to you and I would be over. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Please put your coffee cup on the table. You may spill it in your lap. $100 trillion for implementation. Now, I know that politicians love to throw numbers around as if they are so unimportant. Oh, $1 billion here and $1 billion there and maybe a few trillion for this and another maybe 20, 30 trillion for that. Doesn't make any difference. It's our money, so why not just go ahead and throw it around? But $100 trillion for the implementation of one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life, the green energy with solar and wind power that is absolutely going to be converted at a rate that's going to break all of us. We cannot let our own Idaho Power and others absolutely take over an energy system that is working currently, and they want to destroy it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, but just couldn't help but call.
Well, hurry, go ahead.
I was in this whole idea that 410 parts per billion or per million of carbon dioxide is killing the planet is so ludicrous. It's unbelievable, and obviously the agenda is pushed forward. I see that Amazon now is going to dedicate $2 billion to go totally green.
Yeah,
there's a real problem with all of this. It's just a hoax. It's a total hoax. And this is because it's been the agenda to use carbon dioxide, do away with fossil fuels because it produces carbon dioxide. We breathe out carbon dioxide, but with these masks, of course, we have to breathe it back in. But anyway, this whole thing, 410 parts per million. If you look at put the atmosphere of the Earth in terms of a football stadium of 100,000 seats, which I guess are going to be empty this fall if they play at all, it's going to be, there's 41 seats out of that 100,000 seats is carbon dioxide. That's how small amount that's out there.
Yeah.
Even with the other greenhouse gases, it's still extremely small amount. Most of it's oxygen and nitrogen out there. So, folks, this is the biggest hoax that's been perpetrated on the planet ever, and we just got to expose it and stop it because we can't run. And here's another scientific fact. You cannot, start up with solar, say you shut down all of the coal-fired and hydro and so forth, you can't get energy through the lines with wind and solar. It has to have something already moving before it can be tied in the line. You know, it's really sad.
It is really sad, and it's not going to work. The implementation and the transitional costs and everything to conform to this absolute asinine program are going to be over the moon high. The American public can't afford it. Nobody can. I've got a weather forecast. I've got to get on, Adrian, but I do appreciate your calling back. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. Weather forecast brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. I'm a few minutes late, but I want to get this on quickly. They can better serve your hearing health. Absolutely. You know, with hearing loss, a person can also be risking cognitive decline, and hearing health is closely tied to our brain health. You better check it out if you've noticed a diminishment in your hearing. Call them today for an appointment. They can and they will help you at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. The number to call, 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Keep that water bottle handy for the next couple of days because you're going to need it. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are going to be in a heat advisory through Sunday, and today is no different. Sunny skies, hot, high of 96. Mostly clear for this evening with a low of 59. Tomorrow, another warm one, high of 100 with an overnight low of 60. For Saturday and Sunday, this high-pressure system is still going to hang around, high of 97 with an overnight low of 60 for both days. That's what your weather for 7th rain.
Ooh, man, it's going to get warm. Toasty. Great deodorant sales. Anyway, don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Absolutely serving your hearing health. And by the way, they're going to be moving into a new space right over there at the Minidoka Memorial Hospital campus on August 4th. So be sure and check that out to better serve you. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. 312-0957. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 866-927-4587. This next little story, really, I got to be honest with you, folks, it's kind of sad. Yeah, it is. It is sad to watch a person go downhill with their mental faculties. And anybody that could arbitrate and argue and get mad over this next statement, they're a fool. Because you can obviously see and hear and watch Joe Biden slip lower every day. They showed the tape on the news last night, and as well they should, that Joe made some really bad verbal mistakes. One was he didn't know what year it is currently. I'm not making this up. You can hear and watch the tapes yourself. Didn't know that it was 2020 now. He referred to 2020 as 2 years ago. And then he forgot where he was when he was doing this particular speech. Now, I will give him a little slippage in the knot right there. I can honestly tell you that when I was really going hard in my rodeo career and I was announcing rodeos and performances one night maybe in Oregon and the next night I was back in Minnesota and the next night after that I might be in Oklahoma City, it happened to me once where I stood up and said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to," and for Pete's sakes, I forgot where I was. With a heavy travel schedule and everything, like I was doing 150 performances a year, I forgot where I was. So I'll give him a little slippage on that, but it's not a one-time occurrence. It's not a one-time occurrence. Joe Biden has had numerous faux pas of kind of looking with a blank stare and looking out into the audience, and you've seen it. I can remember back early, I think it was in February. He was in one state, but he referred to being in another. And when corrected, he had that look on his face like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." Well, it's happening more and more. This man is absolutely, I kind of feel sorry for the guy. I really think that his wife, Jill, should stand up and say to the public and to the Democratic Party, enough. Enough. My husband and I are going to go home and we're going to enjoy our years in Delaware, sitting on the porch, maybe taking care of the dogs, whatever the case might be, but enough. You've subjected him in front of the cameras every day. He mentally can't handle this. And in fairness to the American public, he should not be running for the presidency of the United States. Any Democrat that has any kind of a heart should sit there and say, you know what? It's time to tell Joe to take a nap. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, with the Democrats, the ends justify the means. They'll use whoever they need to. And once they get back into power, if they do, which let's hope they don't, they'll get rid of all of the useful idiots. And the streets are full of them. And so, yeah, the end justifies the mean. He is truly a sorry mess. And in a debate, he will melt down, and it will be so, well, it's something that, I mean, I don't want to pick on Joe Biden, but we can't ever afford to let them get back into power.
Well, right there, I want to talk to you about that a little bit. I think it is cruel and inhumane, number one, to let the man continue to be the figurehead for the presidency for the Democratic Party. I think it's cruel. And I think it would absolutely be atrocious and sinful to put him in a debate with President Trump. I'm not denigrating Trump whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I want Trump to win. But you know as well as I do, that'd be like putting a sheep in the lion's den. Biden cannot correlate with anything that's going on in an efficient manner to have a debate with anybody.
Absolutely not. It's a joke. They're a joke. And the fact that anybody even is listening to them is frightening, because nobody in logical, practical sense could say that anything they're saying is would ever work. Okay, one quick thing about the election, and, you know, I guess Trump ran ads in swing states, I guess Pennsylvania for one. I could be wrong about what state it was, but it was about somebody calling 911 and them saying, well, the police have been defunded.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it's a home invasion, you know, it's going to be 5 days before we get there.
Yep.
And so, you know, these ads have been highly effective, and suburban mothers have said, or women said, these things made me realize that there's no way we can vote for Joe Biden.
Absolutely.
Talked about defunding the police.
Absolutely. Next time you call in, you might want to finish your breakfast beforehand.
I was eating a breakfast bar.
I know you were.
Doctors, you know how they got taken off the air?
Yeah.
And then they got back on and refuted everything that was said about them. And so here you've got some doctors who've got some backbone. You got Tom Cotton's got backbone. Jim Jordan's got backbone. And then you got Mike Simpson.
Yeah, well, you go ahead and phrase it the way you want to. I know what I'm going to say. Randy, I've got to run. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, I tell you what, we got to get out of town. We got to go see Grandma. You got to go see Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred. Oh, my goodness sakes. Get the tires that are going to get you there safely and back home safely. They've got all the tires for summertime travel at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely. You stop in and check them out today. All the different tread designs, all the sizes for all vehicles. Along with the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. These people are the best, and the best in service to you. That's not brag, that's a fact. Stop in and see James and Buell, Dan on Pole Line in Twin Falls, Lane and Rupert, Mike and Jerome, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, the Twist family in Paul, and Trent on Overland and Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I got 30 seconds, and I've got to cut you off real fast. Go ahead.
Good morning, Zeb. Hey, what you said about Biden, so true. Your comment about if they had a heart, they're heartless, ruthless, and I have wondered many times about his wife.
Yeah.
Again, she sat there and watched this go on and participate in it.
You know, I wish you'd have called earlier because I love having you call, and I got to be so rude and run to the news right now. But now I'm going to take your gold star off the wall for today, and you've got to earn that gold star by calling earlier next Monday.
Will do.
Okay.
Good to talk to you, Deb. Take care.
All right, God bless you. Thank you much. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Don't go away. Oh, my. Thursday. Hot day. July 30th already. Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a very safe, clean environment. And the best in tires for you. Along with our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping keep you back to being you. Or let me say that again the right way, helping you to get back to being you. There you go, we got it all correct. Hey, don't forget all the fun that's going on over at the Minidoka County Fair. All American flair at the Minidoka County Fair. My. The junior rodeo continues tonight, and then Friday and Saturday night. You talk about cowboys, they're going to have tons of cowboys at the open rodeo on Friday and Saturday. Oh, my goodness, all the displays, all the antiques, everything. Great food for you at the Minidoka County Fair. Like I said, bring the whole family. All American flair at the Minidoka County Fair. Wow, we really appreciate all those nice people, and we want to remind you, too, about some other really nice people that have been with us on this program for a long, long time. And that's, of course, our friends at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving your family. With very flexible hours, they are there and they care. Absolutely, they always uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. When there's the passing of a loved one, they will help you, and always providing the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort. Don't forget Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward and his staff. Also, Joel is serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Real quick note before we go to Penny Main, I want to remind you too, for your aching and paining and recuperating, the place to go, Nick Greenwell and the staff at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I make no bones about it. I tell it like it is. They help me. They can help you. They've done outstanding work helping me with my knee and my hip, and I just absolutely appreciate them at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, 678-1191. You call that number. You make the appointment, and they can help you get back to being you. There, I said it right that time. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Burley, 678-1191. Wow, let's go to the phone line right now. And the president and CEO, as we get all the titles and the plaques and the awards up on the desk, here's Penny Main with the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, just drop my name in $5 and you'll get a cup of coffee. Just make sure you have the $5.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, we went over to the Minidoka County Fair yesterday, too. Lorene and I did, and there's nothing like a county fair, right? And it was great fun. I had my corn dog and my mini donuts to start. That was yesterday. We'll see what I have today, but boy, they put on a great fair over there. That's for darn sure.
You know what my favorite thing about a fair, and I've been to literally, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands and thousands of them that are connected with rodeos. And I always have said that there is nothing that tastes better at a county fair than a county fair cheeseburger. They've got a certain flavor that you can't replace anywhere else.
I know. Aren't you so right? That is the truth. In fact, Lorena and I were just talking about that yesterday. I thought there's nothing like a hamburger from a county fair.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's about. There's some secret sauce that they use to make them taste so great, but I can never replicate that at home. I don't know what that's about, but it's so true. But Anyway, as we keep saying, it's a great day to be in business in Mini-Caja. I want to give a shout-out to our brand-new members, 2 members. We're so happy about that. The Goodie Shop, downtown Burley, as well as Direct Realty. So welcome to the Mini-Caja Chamber of Commerce. We do connect members to members and members to community, and that's what we're all about. And we'd love to have you become part of this great network of businesses that we have here at the Mini-Caja Chamber. And we'll give you some details on how you can reach us when I finish up here. But we're finally relaunching our monthly member chamber luncheons, which we haven't had one since March. Goodness gracious. It's going to be outside here at the Hayburn Park on August 13th. So mark your calendars. We've got an RSVP by August 7th. It's going to be a back-to-school theme. What will it look like? What can teachers and kids expect? The superintendents from Minidoka and Caja school districts will be on hand to, kind of offer their outlook on what school is going to look like in both of those districts, as well as Debbie Christensen from the Caja school district. So we're looking forward to that again, August 13th. Got to RSVP by August 7th. People are looking for jobs as well, and this is a great time to do that. Our friends at American Staffing will be holding a drive-by and apply event on Friday, August 7th from 10 to 3. Open interviews. They're going to interview people in the parking lot. And so if you want to see what American Staffing has to offer with regard to jobs and employment in this area, stop by that drive and apply event on the 7th from 10 to 3. Supporting the historic Wilson Theater, as we always do, their fun run is back again Saturday, August 8th. That's going to be a great time, a fundraiser for the theater, and I urge you to get out and support the historic Wilson Theater. They support us tremendously throughout the year here. So if you want to register, you can do that online by going to historicwilsontheater.com and get involved in that fun run event. Going to be lots of fun. Sports is coming back. Tri-City Sports, Rupert, Hayburn, and Paul. It's called Tri-City Sports. They're getting ready to launch some flag football, some volleyball, and some soccer. If you need some more information about that, 424-2400 is the name to call, or the number to call, excuse me. And last but not least, the VFW, our friends, I know they're close with you as well, Zeb, good folks over there. VFW Post 3043 is hosting their golf scramble on September 19th. Still openings for teams available. And don't forget about their bingo on Saturday night. And I don't want to be remiss in talking about our golf scramble as well. We will be hosting it September 2nd. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. Shout out to everyone, Dot Foods, Minidoka Memorial Hospital, who have stepped up to be our event sponsors, and lots of other folks, lots of other businesses throughout the Mini-Caja area. I'm so grateful to each of you. It looks like we're going to launch in a really great way, and we'll just keep our fingers crossed that we can pull off this event September 2nd.
Absolutely.
Last but not least, we'd love to have you connect with the Chamber today. Again, we love connecting people throughout our communities. We'd love to have you be part of this great organization. 679-4793. Check out our website at minicajachamber.com, or make sure you stop by. Typically, unless we're at an event or something like that, we're here from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So welcome to the Chamber of Commerce. It is a great day to be in business here, that's for sure.
Somebody called me that I think is a very close friend of yours, and they chewed me out for giving you too tough a trivia question that you couldn't answer. And they said, why, Penny, I feel so sorry for her because every question you ask her, she can't answer. Boo, boo, boo. And so today I'm going to give you a question that I doubt seriously it's going to take you 1.3 seconds to answer. Are you ready for this?
Okay, hold on. Let me just take a drink of water here. I feel better after I do that. Hold on.
You sure it's just water? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, I'm pretty sure it's just water. It says it is.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you, like I said, and this person will not be able to call and chew me out again, but what was the name of the young lady Mouseketeer that went on with fame and fortune as an actor and singer?
Well, there were a couple of them.
The primary.
One on the, Now, are we going way back or are we going more current? Because there are a couple of them.
We're going way back.
Oh, way back. Annette Funicello?
See, I told you. Now, with the person that called me last week, please take my name off your hate list.
But there was also Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera.
That's right.
Right? But, Annette Funicello, I can still see her in the little Musketeer ears. Yep. Yeah, she was awesome. Well, okay, so I'm still way down by 3 or 4, right?
Well, at least.
So I don't know who that person was, but God bless you for sticking up for me. I'm extremely grateful for that.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
No,
all right.
I am.
Okay.
We don't need those people in our lives, Zeb. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I enjoyed talking to this person that happened to be a female that knows you really well. And she said, you got to help her because she's not doing so well. And I said, okay, I'll create a slam dunk for her this week. So everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. Everybody can wave at the Wizard of Oz, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, you have a great week. I appreciate you so much. Have a good week.
Take care, Penny. Penny Main, President and CEO of the Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much. Holy smokes. I want to remind you, too, about some really nice people with really good food. I'm talking about Thomas and the whole staff at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my. You know, every time we go in there for lunch bunch, you know, I really always enjoy the food, and I sit across normally from Jimmy and Frida and the rest of the crew, and everybody's enjoying all the good eats right there at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. They treat us so good at Lunch Bunch. Michelle and the staff, my goodness, it couldn't be any better. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time, all the desserts, everything at America's Diner. And they also have another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Don't forget, stop in Denny's Restaurant. Yep, America's Diner. Let's also remember our friends over at Let's Ride. Get your motor running. I'm telling you, head for the hills this weekend. Get to a higher elevation. It's going to be cooler. Oh, yeah. Let's Ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 2. Oh, yes. They've got all the accessories. And they've got a service department that I really want to highlight. Every single time I've taken my four-wheelers over for service work, I mean, they are good. Let's Ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Right now, we are going to be listening to an interview that Sharon Wilmot and, of course, Nick Greenwell had on our program. We're going to be listening to part 2 as Sharon and Nick talk about elite fitness and Burley physical therapy and rehabilitation.
All right. Hey, we're here with Nick Greenwell at Elite Fitness. This is Sharon sitting in for Zeb on this interview. This is a lot of fun coming into Elite Fitness and seeing all the different equipment, all the classes that you've got. Oh, my goodness, I am amazed. Last time we visited, we talked about some of the classes, and we didn't get through all of them. You have so many things going on. I know that for moms, they are concerned, especially if they've got little kids, they don't know what to do with them, but they want to come in and exercise. Can you help them out?
You know what? We put a lot of time and effort into this. Obviously, we've been through this whole COVID crisis with the rest of the United States, and we did have to shut down for a little while based on the Idaho state regulations. We are open in full again, but while we were shut down, we really used that time effectively and came in and did a major overhaul here, painted everything, cleaned everything, repaired everything, added new equipment, upped our game as far as our group fitness classes. And best of all, we added a daycare downstairs. We took one of the rooms that we weren't using a lot, and really, my wife did an awesome job updating it, and it's insanely cute. Yes, we have a great daycare down there for kids of all ages with all kinds of fun stuff. And
as long as mom participates in the class.
Correct. Yeah, you can't drop them off and go to Walmart. But yes, while you're here for a couple hours, she's got all kinds of good stuff down there, and if you're interested, jump on our Facebook page and take a look. There's great pictures.
So they could come and do yoga and stretch and move and all the fun things with yoga.
It's great respite. I tell you what, we have a lot of ladies that come in, and gentlemen that have 2 or 3 kids, and they've been home without school and all this COVID stuff for a long time, and it's just like, I need to go and just exercise. I need to get my heart rate going. I need to clear my head. And the kids go downstairs and play games, read books. There's all kinds of stuff down there while mom or dad stretch or participate in a class or just get on the treadmill for a minute. And I tell you what, not only is it great physically, but it's a good mental break, too.
Yoga is good for the mental psyche. Yep, everything. You've also got one that's different than the equipment that you've got here on the main floor. You've got bicycles on the main floor, but you've got a cycling class?
We do, yeah. So upstairs in our group fitness room, again, we have big place here. We have 3 levels full of equipment. Our upper story is our group fitness gym. It's a big wide open space with it's kind of a big multi-purpose room. And we have some spin bikes up there, and now we're having cycling classes or indoor cycling classes, spin classes, with a couple of instructors. And it's been super popular. Nikki and Brooklyn are teaching our class. We have 2 a.m. classes, 1 afternoon class. They're free with your membership. And if you want to get a good sweat on, come and join a cycling class.
So it's different than being on the exercycle. Then.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they're masters of what they do. Spin bikes are geared toward high repetition, either low or high impact exercise. We really want to get your heart rate up and keep it there for a sustained period of time so we get the cardiovascular benefits. But we can also load the cycle with resistance and create strength and endurance.
So that would be a good thing if you're participating in triathlon.
Absolutely, yep. So that's 1/3 of the game there. And so people come in all the time to try and train for those things with our spin classes or some of our other endurance things. We have a big HIIT class in the morning that's really popular, high-intensity interval training. We have sculpt and bar classes now that create flexibility and core strength as well.
You mean I can get rid of my bat wing?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Wow.
My mom calls it her turkey fat.
Her turkey fat, mine are bat wings.
Yes. But yeah, we have a variety of things there. We just added a new personal trainer here by the name of Justin Horsley. He happens to be one of our MMA fighters, so he has a ton of experience. He's a collegiate wrestler, or was, at a very high level, and is now fighting professionally in MMA and boxing, and he's awesome. Callie Harrell is our nutrition specialist. She also teaches our bar and our sculpt classes. So again, she's very well-rounded. Her classes are extremely popular here at the gym, and she's building a broader base with her nutritional counseling. So get in quick and give them a call. We include those services in our first session with members that join. So if you join our gym, you do get a free personal training session with one of the trainers of your choice, as well as a free nutritional counseling consultation.
That's amazing. I know that I am transitioning off of physical therapy because I had surgery, and I know a lot of other people are too. But I've also heard some people, I'm done with physical therapy, I don't have to do anything anymore.
Right.
I think that's probably a fallacy, and you're doing yourself a disservice.
It's true, and again, it's something that this pairing is really beneficial, right? I've always kind of thought that it might be nice to have somewhere to transition my skilled therapy patients to when we're done, other than, okay, here's your paper, go do these at home for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and not.
Right, and so this is a great thing, and I think it's very unique. I don't know of a lot of places that have this type of bridge program, right? And so we try to, with most of our clients, like yourself, when they're getting into the later phases of their rehab, to have somewhere to go and continue that has supervision if they need it. Mm-hmm. They can ask questions. They don't, feel like they have to do anything unsafe. And so when we get done with our clients, we bring them down here for a session or two at the end of their treatment period, or we meet them down there when they're done and go through the entire facility with them, show them what's safe, what's not safe, set up a good gym-based program for them, and then offer a considerable discount. And we wipe away all of their fees and no cancellation or any of that. And so, again, I probably 90% of the people that I do that with continue, and they create a lifelong lifestyle change.
Okay.
And they're healthier, and they feel better about themselves, and their joints are happy, and it's been a great thing for us. And again, it's very unique, so we're really proud of that.
So as you're coming off of physical therapy, and you have to be aware of the fact you did have a major surgery or a major injury, whatever the reason that you were in physical therapy, when they come over here to Elite Fitness, is there machines they should use or shouldn't use?
Absolutely.
Is that what you guys help them out with?
Yeah, so a big part, sometimes even a bigger part of starting a gym membership or a home exercise program is not necessarily what to do, but maybe what not to do. Right? So there's certain things that you just absolutely shouldn't do for a while after a total hip replacement, and I'm going to ask you what they are.
I am not supposed to bend over and pick up anything off the floor. You know how hard that is for a woman to do? Not cross my legs.
Yes, ma'am.
I am not supposed to, what was the third one? I can't remember now.
You got to keep your toe turned out.
Keep my toe turned out.
So
yeah,
very much like that. A lot of times there's residual restrictions or precautions that we're going to continue. And so when you start a program like this, it's hard to just walk in and say, okay, here's your key, there's the gym, go at it, and know specifically what not to do. And so really a big part of our bridge program is making sure that people understand that even though their doctor has released them, we still have things that we can't do after that rotator cuff repair for a while or that back surgery for a while. And so we can kind of loosely supervise them here and set them up on a safe program that's progressive and not going to hurt anything until we get to that point at which we pull all restrictions and say, Sharon, go nuts, right? And so, again, it's just nice the people have really appreciated having someone here that they can ask questions that has experience and is trained, whether it's myself or one of our trainers. And even if they come on a day that I'm not here, I'm here a couple of days a week now, they just stop up front, talk to the office manager, whomever's at the desk, and say, hey, would you mind having Nick give me a call? I have a question about my back and this particular exercise or machine. And we try and get back with people within 24 hours and answer their questions. And it's been a very, very popular thing.
Okay, so you've got on the floor, the main floor, treadmills and bicycles. And you got some really big monster machines over here on this one wall. It's kind of weird-looking things.
So
what are those?
We have a big variety of elliptical machines as well.
That's not easy to say.
It's kind of a combination of walking and stairs, I guess. It's like an elliptical motion, right? Some are seated, some are standing. You don't see a lot of seated elliptical machines. They're great. They're low impact. We do have one here. But we also have some stair mills. It's kind of like a Stairmaster, but it's just like it's like an escalator. You get on the escalator and you tell it to go, and you walk until you want to puke or whenever, right? And so anyway, that's what all of those are over here. But again, it's just nice. We can walk through and go through everybody with a great specificity on what to use and what not.
So you have all kinds. We need to do another segment so we can talk about some of your other equipment.
I'm all about it.
Sakes. Well, you've got Callie Harrell here, who's a nutritionist. You've got Brittany Murphy, who's a personal trainer. Justin Horsley, who's a personal trainer, and you and Bailey, who are physical therapists.
How about that?
At Elite Fitness. Great transition, 24/7. Oh my gosh, what more could one ask?
Hey, we try and do it all. Service with a smile. If you're going to get in the pool, you got to come and see me at my other office.
There you go. Thank you, Nick. It's been great being here with you at Elite Fitness.
Always good, Sharon.
I appreciate what they did. Sharon and Nick Greenwell, of course, with Burley Physical Therapy and Elite Fitness, and we really thank them for the effort to inform the public about the great services at Elite Fitness and Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Want to remind you, too, about our friends, and they are our friends. I believe we're going to be talking to Curtis a little bit later on this morning at Patterson's Electronics. This is going to give me an opportunity to sit down and really understand more about electronics, home theater systems, everything at Patterson's Electronics. I'm going to kind of leave it hanging there until the next hour at about 10:23. We're going to have Curtis on the phone, and he's also going to be talking about some of the charity money that they help distribute here in the Magic Valley area. Patterson's Electronics, thank you very much. Caller, quickly, good morning. I've got time for one short phone call.
Okay. You know, one of the things that they didn't mention is Silver Sneakers, which is a program, if you're 65 and older, you get it absolutely free.
Well, see, they did talk about it in the week before's programming, and so you missed it.
Well, shame on me.
Yeah, okay. Keith, God bless you. Yes, and we're going to bring it up again very possibly next week, and I do appreciate your comment on that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, buddy. You bet. Thank you. I want to remind everybody this Saturday, August 1st, from 10 until approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's going to be a great big gathering about our Constitution and our freedom in the Twin Falls City Park, 400 Shoshone Street East in Twin. Free admission. Bring your lawn chair, learn, and really appreciate all the liberty this country offers. Freedom is the Cure is the title. This Saturday, August 1st at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Twin Falls City Park. Don't miss it. Right now, and I'm really sincere when I say this, I wish and had hoped that I could have had a economics teacher like this man when I was in high school and college. I would have done so much better. I referred to this man. He is a public policy analyst, economics expert, and a professor of finance. Dr. Michael Busler, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing very well, thank you, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate them.
You know, okay, I'm going to start off, and we might as well get serious right from the get-go, Doctor, that I'm really concerned, and I read some of your promotional information sheets, that our economy in this country right now is not likely to get a whole bunch better until we get rid of this coronavirus, if then. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree. Until we have a vaccine and perhaps some therapeutics, the economy will not be able to fully return to normal. I'm a little bit more optimistic than most about when that will occur. From what I've seen, it looks like we may get a vaccine approved by the FDA perhaps as early as October or even September. Once that happens, and at least one vaccine, and there are 2 or 3 that are in the final stages of clinical trials now, so we may even get a couple more. In addition to that, President Trump has taken a big gamble. The pharmaceutical companies have convinced him that, again, at least 1 and possibly as many as 3 will be approved in September or October. So President Trump, not wanting to have a delay, because once they're approved and the manufacturing starts, it could be 2, 3, 4 months until the vaccine is actually available. President Trump wanted to speed that process up, so he ordered the vaccines, assuming they get approval in September, October. He'll have large numbers ready to go out immediately, and before the end of the year, again, I'm being optimistic now, before the end of the year, we could have some vaccines into the hands of consumers. And once that happens, the economy can fully reopen, and I think the stage will be set for some very strong growth next year. Now, Zeb, let me also say one other thing. So the GDP number for the second quarter was released today. GDP declined almost 33% in one quarter. That's unprecedented.
Oh, my.
2 or 3 times the decline we saw during the 2008-2009 recession. So it's a huge decrease. However, having said that, it looks like all of the decrease occurred in the month of April, and the month of May and June were probably positive, but not enough to offset the month of April. So I think we started to go back, and I've talked on the show before about this, because the number of new jobs added in May was 2.8 million. In June, it was 4.6 million. Retail sales are increasing. Total consumption's increasing. So I think in May and June, we started back, but the drop in April, because we shut down everything virtually, the drop in April was so large that for the entire quarter, April, May, June, we had a large negative number. So I think we're starting on our way back. Now, what about July? We started off pretty good in July, but then the virus kicked up in a lot of states, primarily in the South, Florida, Texas, California, Oklahoma, Arizona, etc., kicked up there, and those states had to shut down again. Now, the economy is picking up in July, but certain areas are shutting down, and those are very large states. What's the net effect of that? It's going to be hard to tell, but next Friday we get the unemployment numbers for the month of July. If it turns out that it's positive, we added jobs rather than a net loss, it looks like things will be continuing to go up. If it turns out that we had a negative number, that is a job loss in July, then perhaps things are heading down again, and we may be in for a little longer-term recession, subject to what the federal government does with this second round of stimulus packages.
Okay, right there. Thank you for saying what you said. It leads me into a question. Bear with me as I form this question. I have none of the ability that you have, so I'm going to phrase it this way. I personally am against any more stimulus money to the tune of trillions of dollars that are going to go and tape themselves to our national debt, bringing us further and further into the hole. I think that these stimulus programs are going to enhance and really further inflationary aspects in our economy. I would rather see the money they're going to take for a stimulus package and put it towards more advanced research, more hurried and safer research for the vaccines. But stimulus money, I think, is absolutely taboo. How wrong am I?
You know, Zeb, there are a lot of people that agree with you, and I understand your view, and frankly, I share it. So what you said was, before the virus hit, the federal government budget was already $1 trillion in deficit.
Yes.
They were going to spend $1 trillion more than they expected tax revenue to be. Then the first round of stimulus passed, almost $3 trillion more. So now we're up to a $4 trillion deficit. In addition to that, because the economy shut down and performed so poorly in the first and second quarter, tax revenue to the government will be down, I would estimate, by about $500 billion. So now you're looking at a $4.5 trillion deficit this year alone before this next round of stimulus, which is going to be somewhere between $1 and $3 trillion more. So we could be looking at a $5 or $6 or more trillion dollar deficit for this year. So you point out the fact, well, look, we started this year, all deficits over time from every president totals $23 trillion. We're adding $6 trillion at least to that this year alone, and the total public debt now will start to approach $30 trillion. Now, people say, well, I don't really understand what all these numbers mean. Well, so here's how to put it in context. Whenever you're looking at debt, it's always in relation to how much income that you have. I mean, look, if you take out a big mortgage, as long as you have high income to pay it, you're fine. You don't want to take out a big mortgage when you don't have enough income to pay for it. So it's all relative to income. So economists would say, as long as the public debt is less than 1 year's GDP, which measures our total income, you're okay. If the debt gets above 1 year's GDP, you start to run into problems. GDP this year will be in the $21 trillion range, and we're talking about a debt up to $30 trillion. That's almost 50% more than our annual income. That will lead to very high interest expenses going forward. It could, if the Federal Reserve keeps printing money to buy the bonds that the government's selling, it could turn out to be very inflationary into the long run. So I would agree with you. I would go very cautiously with the second round of stimulus. And one of the drawbacks or one of the problem areas where the Democrats and Republicans are having difficulty meeting is the extra money that's given to unemployed people. So when people become unemployed, they go to their state and get unemployment compensation. It's usually about half, depending on the state, about half of what your take-home pay was. So the federal government said, look, we don't want to see anybody get hurt, so we're going to add $600 a week to whatever the state was paying you. That meant that more than two-thirds of the unemployed people were making more money not working than working. The result of that has been, and I've talked to probably 24 small business people, and every one of them said to me, I can't get my workers to come back to work because they'd be making less money working than being unemployed. That $600 runs out tomorrow. In the second stimulus package, which it looks like is something is going to go through, the Democrats want the $600 increase at least till the end of the year. The Republicans say no, it's a disincentive for people to go to work. We want it to be closer to $200, and we'll have some kind of a formula. Maybe it'll go up a little more for some people that are really hurting. So I would agree with you. I'm not sure stimulus is needed. Economically, from a political standpoint, I think we will get a second round. How much it is and how much it adds to the deficit will remain to be seen.
Dr. Bussler, you've always been so straightforward on this program, and I learned so much from talking to you, but there's a subject, or part of the subject of this pandemic and the loss of our economy, et cetera, that I've never really heard addressed too much, and they keep talking about employees and the benefits of the employees and trying to help the employees get through the rough spots. But what about the black hole that is increasingly every day being filled by employers, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a shoe store, whether it's a clothing store, whatever, a livestock facility store, whatever it might be, they're going out of business permanently. And we're talking about relocation. We're talking about retraining in new fields. This is a mess.
I would agree with you. And it's very important that we get those businesses back opened as quickly as possible. The longer they stay shut down, the less likely they are to ever reopen. Look, I live in southern New Jersey, along the New Jersey shore. The government, when we've had terrible problems in New Jersey, but not in South Jersey, the governor is treating South Jersey, where we've had very few cases and very few fatalities, the same as he is in North Jersey, where the situation is much, much different. I've been trying to get him to allow the resort businesses to open up fully as soon as possible. We've already missed the whole, what we call the shoulder season from April and May. We missed Memorial Day. We missed the whole month of June. We missed the 4th of July weekend. They're only partially open. They have to have, the restaurants have to have dining outside rather than inside. So we're only operating at a small percent of full capacity. The longer this goes on, the less likely they are to be able to stay in business into the future. So we've got to get the economy back opened and operating again, and we'll try to do it as safely and follow whatever we have to follow, but we need to get things open, get people back to work. Even psychologically, people that are not working, it's a terrible psychological negative impact on them being home all the time and not doing anything. I'm worried about the school children, too. They're now starting to say in a lot of areas we're not going to have kids go back to school, and I think that's devastating. So we need to get reopened as soon as possible. Obviously, safety is important, but we need to get opened as soon as possible. Or you're right, Deb, a lot of these businesses are going to go under and never come back.
Let me ask you a question. I just thought about this while you were talking about the governor, et cetera. Are we using too much tunnel vision in this country as far as trying to solve the problem with the pandemic, try to come up with a vaccine, and try to eliminate it? It's a virus. It's probably never going to go away. Instead of maybe using the approach of we have to learn how to live with it. That being said, what's going to happen to foreign investors that are looking at this country, looking at the pandemic, and looking at possibly investing in this country? What about that money?
Well, they're certainly going to be very reluctant, and you're right. I think more should be spent on learning how to live with this virus rather than shutting everything down, which you're not 100% sure shutting things down and keeping everybody indoors is that much of a positive thing. So we need to get reopened. We need to get operating as normally as possible for all the reasons that we just talked about. I think the real key is once we get those vaccines and people feel a little more confident, then I think we'll be able to get the economy started. But there are a number of governors who I think are being perhaps overly cautious here. And, I want to say they're in a very difficult position. almost no matter what you do, you're going to lose. So you want to figure out a way that will minimize some of your losses. They're choosing to shut down as a way to minimize losses. I'm not sure that's the right answer. But we need to get back to something close to normal really as soon as possible.
I'm not trying to paint you into a corner here, Dr. Bussler, but I've got to be very blunt and honest that I think a large percentage of this problem currently that has absolutely affected every American, every business, everybody that works for a living and wants to advance themselves with the talent that God's given them, I think we are looking at a political ploy by the left to extenuate the circumstances to get more control. You can tell me I'm wrong. I've got big shoulders. Go ahead.
Zeb, I'll tell you, I'd like to think that's not the case. But if you look at the states that are really holding back, New York held back, New Jersey held back, California held back, Michigan held back, they all have Democratic governors. So I'd like to think people are beyond politics, but to be objective about this, I think I have to agree with you. There's a lot of politics coming into play here rather than just looking at health and economics.
Would there be, if this problem is exacerbated much further with a absolute depletion of private industry and small businesses, would this be on the verge of a total world economic collapse, or am I thinking too big in too big a terms?
It could possibly. Obviously, everybody like to avoid that. But if everybody overreacts to this, and if they end up shutting down much of the country and the U.S. slides back into recession, the U.S. has such a large impact on the rest of the world that we could be looking at a global significant downturn. I don't think that'll happen, but it is definitely a possibility.
One last subject that I wanted to ask you about, and I think this is a bright sign on a gloomy day, if you will, that the Kodak Corporation seems to be making a comeback right now, and I did a little bit of checking on this yesterday, and they're well known for all their photography and photographic business, but now they're getting into the prescription drug processing to take business away from China. I find this to be a good thing. What are your thoughts?
I think it's excellent. You know, Kodak is really a chemical company, even though they're in photography, but they have all the chemicals that they've developed over the years to develop the picture. So it wasn't much of a jump for them to switch over to what you're just talking about. I think you're going to see a lot of that into the future. Our supply chain has become too dependent on goods manufactured in other countries, particularly China. And while you may save a few dollars because their labor costs are lower, the risk of a supply chain disruption and the negative impact that can cause is so great that I think you're going to see companies coming back here. Let me also say one thing. China had an advantage because their labor is so cheap. I mean, at one time, when we first started going over there, they were only paying their people $1 a day. Now, it's improved significantly. They're up to maybe $7 or $8 a day, but still, it's much less than what the U.S. is. So if we bring manufacturing back and make it labor-intensive, hire a lot of people, we're never going to be able to compete dollar-wise. So when we bring the manufacturing back, the new manufacturing will be very capital-intensive, which means robots, artificial intelligence, automation, all on the production line. So instead of needing 100 people to work a factory, you only need 10 people and 90 robots to do it. Fortunately, the tax cut in 2018 allowed for more capital creation by both corporations and upper income earners who create the capital. So I think we're in a good position to bring some of this back, and I hope we see a lot more things like what Kodak is doing.
And, you know, I want to jump in here and say something else very political. I absolutely extend kudos to the Trump campaign or the Trump administration for the helping of furtherances of companies like Kodak. And I fear I honestly fear that this next election in November, if it goes the wrong way to the left, we could see a total diminishment of more advancement of business in this country. Your thoughts quickly.
I agree with you completely. It's very critical. President Trump stopped the move toward socialism, or at least slowed it down significantly. He's going to need 4 more years to really put the country back on a road that was consistent with the principles of freedom, democracy, and capitalism, and that's what made the country great.
I just absolutely enjoy every moment that you can spare with us on this program. Dr. Michael Busler, public policy analyst, economics expert, and a professor of finance at Stockton University in New Jersey. I mean this when I say this. Stay well, stay healthy, and please come back soon.
Thank you, Zeb. It's always my pleasure to be here. I look forward to doing it again.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely one of the most interesting guests you could ever have on the radio, Dr. Michael Busler. He tells it like it is, and he knows the economy. He knows what's going on and what needs to be done. What needs to be done. I look forward to having him on the show anytime I can. Right now, let's go to the weather. I better go to the weather. I'm running late again. Oh, Zeb, look at the clock. Look at the clock. Don't forget our weather brought to you this hour by Phillips, Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. The professionals in providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area and beyond for well over 50 years. Now, not all of them are that old, but I'm telling you what, they can take care of you. Your family, your business, you better believe it. Tax return preparation, tax planning, all the business consulting, payroll services, retirement planning. They know, and they can help you. Offices in Burley and Rupert, the professionals. Phillips, Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, let's listen to a hot forecast with Gina.
Keep that water bottle handy for the next couple of days because you're going to need it. Here's what's your weather forecast. We are going to be in a heat advisory through Sunday, and today is no different. Sunny skies, hot, high of 96. Mostly clear for this evening with a low of 59. Tomorrow, another warm one, high of 100 with an overnight low of 60. For Saturday and Sunday, this high-pressure system is still going to hang around, high of 97 with an overnight low of 60 for both days. That's what gets your weather for Zeb at the Rams.
I can attest to the fact that it's warm because I just looked at my arm, and for those of you that are watching on the cameras on ZebBell.com, the cameras in my studio, all the ink has come off on my arm. I'm sweating, and I'll tell you, it's a sauna bath. Weather brought to you by the professionals, Phillips, Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, providing accounting services for you. Get a hold of them today with offices at 1710 Overland Avenue in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. The professionals, Phillips, Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. You know what? We all deserve a treat. We all deserve to go someplace and just let them do the cooking. And so right now I'm going to be talking about some places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. How about this? Let's start with the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. They got new kids' meals, you know, the chicken nuggets and the fries and the 12-ounce drink. Oh, boy. And they also have kids' meals with the corn dogs and the cheeseburgers and the hamburgers and everything. Oh, they're good. And to cool off, this just sounds good on a hot day. Lemon freezes and orange freezes at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, let's move on over to Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh, boy, this is a great, great, great place to get together for your morning coffee and maybe a breakfast burrito or maybe some of the street tacos. Or this is absolutely phenomenal. The pork burritos with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Woo! It's good. All of the food is good at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, now, two locations of Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert, 700 Overland in Burley. Oh, they've got the fish, shrimp, and halibut baskets. Have a halibut basket for the halibut. Don't forget corn dogs and burritos, only $1.29. What? And super menu choices with a staff that really is friendly and serving you. Don't forget Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. I'm drooling. Last but not least, let's not forget Steve-O's food made the way you love it at 290 South, 600 West in Heyburn. Oh, they've got tasty steaks, tender fillets, ribeyes, sirloins. Oh, thanks to the Double R Ranch for those steaks. And don't forget, too, the patio's open in the nice, warm, hot weather and live music on the weekends. You're just going to enjoy it. If you don't want to cook, for heaven's sakes, this is the place to go. Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. And those are some great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Wow, did that sound good or what? Now, let's see what we got coming up next hour. We're going to have Cassia County School Days, and we have the principal of Burley Junior High, Steve Kopman. I hope I said his name correctly. He's going to be calling in, and then our business salute this morning will be with Curtis at Patterson's Electronics. And then at 10:32 this morning, back by popular demand, many of you said, let's have this man back, Alex McFarland. He's an author and great speaker, and his book is called Moral Decay. We're going to be talking to him about professional sports and why, like myself, I'm not even going to bother with the NFL or Major League Baseball. I'm done with them. I've had it. We're going to talk about that coming up at 10:32 this morning. Quick note. Again, I want to mention what we said earlier this morning. We are getting a lot of new people that have sent emails and telephone calls, thank you very much, into our studio saying how much they enjoy the program. They enjoy our guests. We are the only radio program in this entire area, and for that matter, I think the state, that employs the use of all these national guests, and I thank you for your kind comments. Thank you very much. Right now, we're going to take a little break and send it back over to Sean, and he's going to lead us into CBS News, and they'll probably destroy everything we've put back together. We'll be back in 7 minutes. Oh, welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch on this Thursday, hot July 30th, and the last Thursday of this month. My goodness, this month went fast. We're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a very safe, clean environment, and, you know, the best in tires. Along with our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Want to remind everybody, too, about our friends at Greystone Crossing. You got to be familiar with it by now. They've been on the air a long time. Seniors, please don't put it off. This is a beautiful 12-bedroom home with all the amenities of 3 meals a day, snacks, housekeeping, local transportation. Wow! And you're with your friends every day. At Greystone Crossing, 1221 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, see the facility, call Matt and Kelly at 650-4979. That number again, 650-4979, Greystone Crossing Senior Living. Don't put it off. You call them today. Somebody else you need to call and find out about what they can do to help you build your own financial security and future, and that's 7K Metals. Oh my, I'm so glad that we started. Absolutely. You can create your own security bank through silver purchases that come right to your home. It really is a very, very nice saving opportunity for you and a valued treasure for your loved ones in the future. Better find out more. How? I'll tell you. Contact Lon Hardy at 312-8699 or Sharon at 430-3259. Tell them I told you to call. They will help you on behalf of 7K Metals. Right now, it's time for a segment that has grown in popularity on this program over the years, Cassia County School Days, and we are very fortunate this morning to have the Burley Junior High principal, Steve Kopman, on the program. Steve, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
I'm great, Zeb. How are you doing?
You're on a speakerphone. Turn that off and use the handheld. Speakerphones are no good on an interview. Too much of a backlash.
No trouble.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Steve, I'm going to be very blunt and poignant about what I want to ask. We need to get these kids back in school. They need to be in school with their peers. They need to be learning with a teacher at the head of the classroom. What are your thoughts?
I agree 100%. The slowdown, the shutdown, the soft closure we had in the spring, the parents, the students, the staff did the absolute best they could. And with mixed results, but these kiddos need to be in school.
Well, what's going on statewide? What are you hearing? What are some of the mandates or dictates? I mean, what's happening? Bring us up to speed.
Well, you only hear what you hear, but I've heard of plans where they're coming back online only. There's hybrid plans out there where there's some schooling and some hybrid. Our district is going to offer the option of doing online or in school. Of course, nationally, the gamut's even wider than that. There's some systems that have shut down altogether. And I think the way that our district is approaching it and the cautious attempt that they're making to get these kids back in school, I think it's the most effective way to get them here.
I'm just going to say this, and I offend certain numbers of people every day on this program, and I can't make any apologies for that. That's the nature of this business. I am a little bit taken aback by some of the teachers' op-eds and their letters to the editor and some of their responses on national TV, etc., where the teachers are more, I think, concerned for their welfare than they are the students. And I look at it this way. The students are very, very low susceptibility of passing this virus on to anyone with their age bracket. So get the kids back in school.
Right, and I can just speak for my staff, and I've got the best staff in the country. The people I've talked with want to get the kids back. They want to do it safely. We enjoy great parent support. Through that soft closure, we had multiple phone calls of people praising our folks for working hard, and I'm sure it's across the district. Other schools got it too. But as a staff, we want these kids back. We're having a leadership team meeting on Monday morning to discuss safety issues, not using water fountains. Do we use lockers or not? Do we have them come in separate doors? Social distancing, all of those responsible things to do. But my staff, I don't have one teacher that's come to me and said, we don't need to be in school. Zeb, every one of them I've talked to want to get these kids back.
Let me ask you about some of the things that you've had to change or alter. And you just mentioned one about the drinking fountains. And I would say to you as a parent and a grandparent that these kids need to have an ample supply of water during the day. What are they going to do to replenish it and the fountains aren't working?
Well, we have bottled water. We actually put in fill stations a while back where the students can come up with their bottle and just stick it underneath without touching anything. Automatic fills it with that water at the water fountain. We'll have the water fountain portion of it shut down, but those fill stations will work. I agree. Research is conclusive, another area of research, about hydration of your brain. Your brain works so much better when it's hydrated, and we push that when we're testing, and we encourage it year-round. So I'm an avid supporter of getting them water, and we'll make sure that happens, especially in the fall here. It's pretty stinking hot in these buildings, and we'll make sure to keep them watered up.
I can imagine. Steve, what are the other transitional changes that you as an educator and the principal have had to sit back and go, holy cow, we've got all this to do? I mean, tell us about some of the other changes.
As far as dealing with this COVID?
Yes.
Well, we're looking at putting some sneeze guards in. The district's purchased a lot of the PPE, the personal protective equipment, masks. The district's not going to require masks, but we're sure going to encourage it. We're going to look at spaces. We're going to look at lunchrooms. We may end up adding an extra lunch so we can space those kids out like we need to. We're going to look at how they interact out at lunchtime, out on the football field. And Zeb, sometimes our kids get a black eye, kids in the country in general. Our kids are awesome. We've got such good kids, and the people I've spoken with, if we ask our kids to be socially distanced, most of them are going to work on that. If we remind them out at lunchtime, you can't hang out in the big groups and stay apart, they're going to do that. Some of them aren't. I'm not living in a rosy-type world, but our kids will do what we ask them. Some other things we're going to do, we're going to have hand sanitizer available everywhere. We're going to encourage good hygiene. I think that's one of the good things that will come out of this pandemic is maybe as a country we'll live a little cleaner. It doesn't hurt to wash your hands more often.
You know, and what you said right there, Steve, I'm really glad you brought that up, because with every negative that happens in our society, there's always somewhat of a bright spot that it might make us be better people, right?
I agree, 100%. It all depends on perspective, and you can find a grumpy spot in anything that you do, or you can find a bright spot, and I tend to look for that bright spot.
The teachers and you as a administrator, this has had to be one of the worst things that could ever come down the pike. I mean, here you are, about 8-9 months ago, you're rolling, education's looking good, you're getting ready for the end of the school year, and then all of a sudden, bam, this hits you. This must have been a tremendous transitional effort on behalf of you and your teachers.
Oh, my goodness, and that's a mouthful. I praise my staff. We went overnight into an online distance learning type situation, and my people just buckled down and did what they needed to do. I had a buddy of mine that said, "How'd you like that vacation the last 2 months of school?" And I said, "I'm about to throw you on the ground." We worked all day, and if you think about these parents, it's dual income families. They don't start teaching until 5 at night when they get home. So my teachers needed to be available from 5 to 10 in the evening to answer questions, and they were running Zoom meetings in the evenings and making phone calls, and they didn't bellyache about it. They just did what they had to, and I am so appreciative. We monitored homework closely. We didn't want to overload the kids. We watched the grades, but I told my folks early on, academics is one small part of this. The social and emotional wellness of our kids is what we need to keep an eye on, and we made a lot of home visits. Now, there was times I took my counselors, and we had 6-foot distance meetings in front yards with some of the kiddos that needed to talk to us. And our staff had built bridges with a lot of these kids, and they trusted us, and they called us when they had issues, and we were able to interact that way, which was awesome. Our district has been looking at PLCs, and our teachers have been working on essential standards and things that kids have to learn. So we buckled down, and we zeroed in on those essential standards, and it wasn't fun. We learned a lot along the way, but I think the ultimate outcome was as good as it could be.
You know, Steve, you touched on a subject that I wanted you to elaborate on a little bit more. Across the board, from California all the way to New York, we've heard stories about how these kids today, because of the school shutdown and because of a not certain future at all, that there's been a lot of depression, and there's been a lot of people that need to be helped with advisors and people that are professionals. What about the situation here in the Magic Valley?
It's rough, Zeb, and I can only speak from my experience with our students at our school, but like I said, we've made some visits to students who needed it. I'm fortunate enough that both of my counselors are also clinically trained counselors. Mm-hmm. They're very good at what they do, and our interactions with students are very effective. Our district's also very fortunate to have our Connect program. Our community has donated a bunch of money so that we can have a connection to instant psychological help for these kids, some counseling for them. But it was extremely tough, just the social aspect of it alone. When are kids most social? In the springtime. Yep. And we took that away from them. And then they're having no social interaction, plus they have the weight of the homework, and it was tough on a lot of kids.
You know, what about another aspect of it? And I always go back to this in conversations that, you know, it's great to have a well-qualified academic career, but along with that in the schools, you've got to have some extracurricular, whether it's athletics, whether it's band, whatever it might be. What about those programs?
I'm a firm believer in those. You know, there's very few kids that get up in the morning and say, I'm excited to go to school to learn English or math. So maybe they're excited for their shop class or their, home ec class. And so I'm a firm supporter of those electives for those students. And we continued on with those as much as we could. Of course, wood shop and home ec and some of those hands-on lab type classes, that was a little more difficult. But we had some projects for them to work on. Our art teacher went to great lengths to make sure they had some project things to do and to make them meaningful to these kids. Sometimes it's that that's the tie that we have them in. Mm-hmm. They tie in with a separate program other than their core program. But we've got a great offering of those electives as well.
Okay, and looking to the school year opening day, which is just a matter of weeks away, what about you, the principal and the teachers, when they ring that bell for the first class in a couple of weeks? What are your thoughts, and what are you going to say? Oops, I forgot this, or we've got all the bases covered?
you want an honest answer?
Yes, I do.
Silly question. I'm nervous. I'm extremely excited to see the kids. We have missed our kids. I'm nervous. We're going to have separate doors for them to come in, and we're going to start right off and talk to all the parents, send out some information, and have them get on board with us before school starts about hygiene. These kids have been good with hygiene during the summer, we hope, and carry it back into the school and talk with their students about distancing and talk with the students about interactions with peers. I'm nervous, but I'm extremely excited to get them back. Our staff is extremely excited to get them back.
I got to tell you something, Steve. I don't know if you've been on this program before. My memory is fading in my older years, but I am really impressed with your straightforward attitude. I really am, and I thank you for it. We've got a call. I've got time for one short phone call. Real quick, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Cobman, the frontline doctors, I hope you've taken the time to listen to what they had to say, even though it was pulled by YouTube and Facebook. They came back out and defended themselves. But what they had to say is people that are actually on the front lines doing this stuff, and they said masks are unnecessary and that children will not give this to the teachers. And I hope this is being considered in Cassia and Minidoka counties, because we'd like to think that we're normal here. I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, please, quickly, Steve.
I heard that study, the research that came out, and it got taken off real quick. Zeb, I want a station that's called Truth. I want to know exactly what it is, and of course we don't have that now. If we knew for an absolute fact that kids didn't give it to people, we could act differently about it. But at this point, our district has been extremely supportive and very careful at going through all the information, and I think the approach that we have now with encouraging masks, because the general research says masks work. Whether they do or not, that's what we're hanging our hat on right now. It doesn't hurt necessarily, depending on what research you believe also. But I did see that frontline research that was out there for a minute and got pulled from everywhere. So, and we're going to have to change as we go along. That's the other thing. Our district knows that we're going to have to keep meeting and change as this COVID, we learn more and more facts about it. We're going to have to be pretty pliable and change to those requirements as they learn the absolute data as well.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you are a real plus for Cassia County Schools as the principal of Burley Junior High. Thank you, Steve Koppman. God bless you, and the best, and I mean this, the best of success starting the new school year.
Right on, Zeb, and we appreciate your support of our system and this program you run. You're a great supporter of our schools, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. God's blessings, and please come back soon and talk to us again.
All right, have a great day.
All right, sir. Very, very nice man. And I want to go back, and I want to say quickly a big thank you to Debbie Critchfield. Debbie sets up all these interviews, and it shows you, the public, the great, underline that word great because it's absolutely the truth, the great people that are in the school system. And this man is one of them. Principal Steve Koppman with Burley Junior High. Good guy, really. Want to remind you, too, about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. They've got a great big sensational flooring event going on right now. 48 months, same as cash on approved credit. Oh, listen to this. You can carpet your home with 3 different prices, 3 different kinds of carpet. The standard carpet, the better carpet, or the premium carpet, all within your budget and price frame. You better believe it. Yes? I heard somebody cut in. And then also, don't forget, along with the carpet for your entire home, do not forget the luxury vinyl. Same thing again. Standard luxury vinyl, the better, and the premium, all within your budget. How do you find out more about this? You get a hold of our friends Jeff and the entire staff serving you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Like I said, they're located at 459 Overland in Burley. All the beautiful furniture, all your carpet and flooring needs with the people that really know and understand the beautification and the comfortization of your home. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and we've got a very interesting individual on the line with us that has done a lot to help support community charities, and his business is Patterson's Electronics at 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes. It's good to have you on the program this morning.
Well,
inviting me on the show.
Oh, you betcha. Curtis, we have been talking for a long time about your community involvement and support for a lot of the charities in this area, and you've chosen two to really help support this year. Can you give us kind of a background of what you're doing and how it ended up?
So we spoke about, a month and a half, 2 months ago, and wanted to do what we did last Christmas, and that is to have a $1,000 giveaway. And so the two charities that we ended up with this time were Helping Hands Christian and Magic Valley Area Humanitarian Center were the two winners. Well, the hope is to get them set up so that we can present the checks to them this Saturday. And so that's our plan. But it's two worthy causes, food kitchen type places. Certainly people need food and help as much as they can this time of year. And I wish we could give more, but we're doing what we can, and appreciate the people that came in and gave us some support and helped us out and helped us make the decision with regard to these two companies.
You know, I tell you something, Curtis, I'm absolutely impressed with you and your staff and the community involvement. And I want you to take just a moment to tell everybody I am not an electronics guru. I know that if you can't saddle it or rope it, I don't know anything more about it. You have everything for electronic needs. Kind of give us a thumbnail sketch real quick about all the different electronic programs and machinery, if you will, that you carry at Patterson's Electronics.
I appreciate that. Obviously we do, not obviously, but we do, we represent Dish Network and HughesNet for internet and satellite. We have off-air antenna options for people to select between. And certainly do the installation and service on that. We if anybody wants to do networking in their house, run the cables to everything, finishing up, putting switches in and helping them with their modems and having secure networks or doing wireless, we can help with that. Certainly we've been known as a car audio superstore for a number of years, and we have good selection. In fact, with car audio, if someone's looking for a stereo, we have stereos with bases as large as 10-inch in stock, and they have all the bells and whistles you can think of. There's too many features to list them on. If people want to get into multi-room audio and have sound in various parts of their houses, we can do that. If they want to have a wireless surround sound system or just a sound bar, regardless how complex or simple it is, and of course, having a remote that will control everything and integrate as much as possible, we do those kinds of things as well. We're looking at, and we're going to be expanding here in the near future, to where we're going to be getting into some other stuff, and I'll save that for another time. But it's going to be fun, and it's a void that's in the area that we want to see if we can't meet.
Absolutely. One other item that I'd like to mention to you, too, in this day and age, it's too bad we have to think about it, but you have the material that will help, and that's, of course, video surveillance cameras, correct?
Absolutely. We've got lots of options there, be it if they want to do a basic system, wireless system, they want to tie it in with their alarm system, we can help them with that. If they want to be a little more, some of the cameras are kind of cool because it's amazing how, even during the nighttime, how you can see some colors and make out what's going on with regard to the person. You can identify them in that, whereas with many cameras they have the infrareds. And anyway, so there's lots of options there. And it can be IP based. You can have 4 megapixel cameras if you want, or just do an analog, whichever. And of course, we'll explain all that to people because there's so much and so many options when we want to tailor the system to each person, whether it be for their audio, for their home or car or business, or a video solution that they're looking for, be it a camera system or video watching. The goal is to help people understand and be educated as to what the options are. and to help them meet those options.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Patterson's Electronics, 421 East Main in Burley, and we're talking to Curtis, and I absolutely tell you he's got everything for all your electronic needs, and they're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Curtis, I mean this. Thank you for what you do. God bless you, man, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for inviting me, and appreciate the opportunity, and appreciate the people in the Mini-Cash area for being awesome people and supporting us with their business.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Come back soon. Curtis over to Patterson's Electronics. I thank them. They've been such nice people to work with. We're going to take a little break for a couple of minutes and send this back over to our main studio. I want to remind you again that the Freedom is the Cure, Advancing Our Constitutional Republic in the Magic Valley, is going to take place this Saturday from 10 to 4, approximately, at the Twin Falls City Park. Free admission. Be there. Help support the values of our country. Right now, we'll send it over to our main studio. I'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Hey, don't forget, with the hot weather hitting us over the next couple of days, Snyder's Surplus at 116 South, 200 West of Rupert, Leland says, stay cool, man. We've got the Porta-Cools, the big swamp coolers on wheels. Oh, and they got the big shop fans, too. Woo! Blow you right into next week. They're so powerful, they'll keep you cool. Check it out. Don't forget, be cool and stop over to Snyder's Surplus, 116 South, 200 West of Rupert. And the number to call, 438-5486. Leland's a good old boy, and he wants you to stay cool during these dog days of summer. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored to have this next gentleman come back on our program, because every time he's been here, about 2 or 3 times in the past, we've had some outstanding...
I'm trying to get him on the line.
All right, thank you very much. Hopefully he will be there. So we're waiting to see about Alex McFarland, and hopefully he'll pick up the phone and be with us on the line. And so we'll have to wait a few minutes. Couple of notes that I can share with you while I'm waiting is Governor Little will be on the program next Tuesday at 9:30. Don't forget, put that down on your calendar. We're going to do this kind of a format. Deanna, could you check and see why and where we're not having success getting our guest? The format's going to be, we're going to talk to him about some issues for the first part of the interview, and then we're going to open up the phone lines. And please keep your calls very short and succinct so we can get a lot of people on the air, okay? That's going to be next Tuesday at 9:30. Calls would be welcome right now and appreciated if you want to give me a jingle on the landline at 436-2244 or 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. And we're trying to run down our guest, Alex McFarland. Okay, let's see what else is in the news this morning that we need to comment on. You knew that President Trump was in Texas yesterday. And, of course, talking about the Energy Department's action of expanding. Deanne, please take him out of here. The dog's got a plastic bottle making all kinds of noise. And signing 4 permits of expanding oil transportation infrastructure. I salute what the Trump administration is trying to do to fight the idiocy of the green energy campaign that is going to be launched upon us if Joe Biden becomes the president. So there is a quick note about President Trump in Texas yesterday. Let's see, what else have we got cooking here? Your thoughts on any issue that's in the news right now. We did not plan for having this happen this morning. This is the second time we've had trouble with this particular guest being by the telephone, so we'll hopefully get a hold of him in the next couple of minutes. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb.
Hi.
Hey, I recently saw a report from 1963 that was read into the congressional record involving 45 steps to implement communism in the States.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One of the steps was to control either both or one or both of the political parties. Is there any proof that they don't have both of them already? With nothing reported back from our state representatives over the last few days?
Well, let me just say this, and you bring up a very interesting point of conversation. I honestly believe, and until somebody shows me and can prove me wrong, that the Democratic Party has been taken over by a left-wing band of left-wing socialists that are propelling the party, the Democratic Party, into nothing more than socialist ideas and goals if they're elected into the Oval Office with Joe Biden. Secondarily, there has been an extreme weakness of the GOP, the Republican Party, to stand up and with a spine and a backbone try to fight this push towards socialism. I aim a lot of my negative remarks against the Republicans because they have not shown any backbone, and I really launch my bad remarks against the Democrats for turning into a socialist party.
You know, I feel the same way about that, and I don't know how we can change our state representation because the Republican Party feels the same way as our representatives do.
Well, let me ask you a question right there. Let's name names. Who are you against that you don't think is doing the job that is applicable to supporting the state of Idaho and the nation with better values? Who are you against?
Well, I haven't heard anything from Rich, Simpson, Labrador, or I can't remember the other one, but
Vulture.
I haven't heard anything from our national representatives.
Well, your point is well taken with me, and you're not gonna offend me whatsoever. I am all in favor of listening to and having them on my program. And let me just tell you my feeling on this quickly. I have invited each and every one of those people on my program numerous times, and I'm not getting any response back from them as to times that are applicable to their schedule so they could be here. But on the other hand, these people are not putting forth any kind of an effort to put forth news releases, press releases, or talk to the cameras on TV or talk to the microphones on radio about their stand about what's going on with Antifa, their stand as to what's going on with Black Lives Matter, their stand as to what's going on with a defund and absolutely get rid of the police departments across our land. These are issues that as our national senators and congressmen, they darn sure should be speaking out on. Go ahead.
I agree with you totally, and I just wish there was some other options that we have within our state to represent us other than those.
Well, when you say other options, you must have some thoughts on that, caller, so what are they?
Well, I don't know of anybody. That's the problem I have, is that the Republican Party puts up their candidates, and I don't see anybody else willing to risk their credibility to run against those.
I am not going to argue with you at all, because in the case of Mike Simpson, Mike and I have had our differences over the Muslim Brotherhood issue during the Obama administration, and I will not weaken. I think that by employing and letting in the Muslim Brotherhood to be basically kind of an overseer of some of the things that were going on during the Obama administration was wrong, and Mike seemed to have his feathers ruffled when I said that. And he hasn't been on my program since. And I think that's deplorable, because he should be making the inroads to call this program and talk to his constituents.
I agree with you. I wish there was more of a response from our representatives to our local communities.
I would say this, and I want you to respond to this. I think on a state basis, that we are extremely blessed, especially right here from this area. I'll say the areas of District 27, 25, 24, etc. I think we have very qualified people. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I live a block away from Senator Anthony and know his values and what he represents. And Mr. Woods, Dr. Woods, I know him and what he represents and follow within that line.
I think what they do, and whether it's Kelly Anthony, whether it's Fred Wood, whether it's Representative and Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, and I could go on, Lori Likely, Clark Kaufman, Jim Patrick, any of them, they really are concerned about what their constituent needs are and how they can help. Therein, though, lies the problem when we go to the national level. I'm seeing these people go back to the Potomac and forgetting about the people that put them in that seat.
That's what I see as well. You talked to a representative from Gwen Sperry. I can't remember her name.
I think oh my goodness, I want to say Christy Zitto. Was that who it was?
Yeah,
okay.
I would rather see her back in Washington representing us than some of the others that are now there.
Well, I appreciate your phone call, and I appreciate your candor about what your thoughts are and everything, but I will say this. I honestly feel that Mike Crapo, Mike Risch, Simpson, whomever, they should all make a concentrated effort from their office to try to find the airtime to talk to their constituents. We, in the media, shouldn't have to chase after them, and they should be more than willing to tell their people in their home area what's going on.
Totally agree. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. It looks like our guest, and this will be the last time that I will try to entertain having him on the air, because it's been one other time we've had problems, and I just want to make sure that you give me a call. We've got time, and I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about what Fauci had said earlier this morning, Dr. Fauci, that, maybe we better consider all wearing eye goggles in addition to the face mask? What are your thoughts about wearing eye goggles? What happens if it becomes mask and goggle mandatory? Give me a call. Let me know what your thoughts are. While I'm waiting, excuse me, for your call, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be on time for a change, and I'm going to do a weather forecast, and then I'd like to get some of your calls on the air. Don't forget Edith's Cafe. They're located at 144 East Highway 81 in Burley. Oh, delicious food. I mean, from sandwiches all the way to the steaks, and they've got all kinds of specials. You're going to love it. And that barbecued brisket sandwich, absolutely second to none. Caller, I'll be right with you. Please stand by. Don't forget they're open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 9, and they also do catering. Where are they located? 144 East Highway 81, right across from the Burley Golf Course. Great food. Nice people at Edith's Cafe in Burley. Caller, I'm going to do your call first and then go to the weather. Go ahead, please.
Dan, I just hate the thoughts of wearing goggles and a bubble suit. That means I won't have to get dressed. I can just get in my bubble suit.
Please don't go there, Bob.
And one other thing, I sure agree with that previous caller. Those three guys that we got representing us back in Washington, D.C. need to get replaced. More than ever, they never tell us anything, they never do anything except collect their money. And Mr. Crapo is the first one that needs to go. Thanks, Sam.
All right, Bob. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. You know, we had a pretty good relationship for a long time with Mike Crapo. He used to call in, make arrangements to be on the air. And like I said, I'm not going to cater to these people. They have a responsibility, and I dare somebody to tell me I'm wrong. They have a responsibility through their staff to make sure that they are talking with and visiting and sharing with their constituents as to what is going on and why and what needs to be corrected. I made the statement earlier, and I'm going to stand behind it. I'm not going to be the dog chasing parked cars. So many times on this program, I had them scheduled, only to receive a call or not even get a call because they took on another meeting or they had to go here, they had to go there. That's all well and good, but then they need to reschedule. And I'm not going to be the one that's chasing all the time for a person that represents the state, whether a congressman or a senator, that should be ready and available to tell the people that voted for him what's going on. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you right now by our friends at Scarrows Meats. I'm losing my voice all of a sudden. Hay fever season. A lot of you folks out there know what I'm talking about. Hay fever season with the pollen and the dust in the air and everything. Ooh, it makes for an ugly situation. Don't forget Scarrows Meats, Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. And believe me, they've got the most of all the delicious meats. Everything from all the hams to the tri-tips to the marinated pork ribs to the bratwurst to the sausages and all the flavors of the bacons. Oh, it's delicious. Get a hold of them today. Scarrows Meats in Jerome, 324-7657. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Keep that water bottle handy for the next couple of days because you're going to need it. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are going to be in a heat advisory through Sunday, and today is no different. Sunny skies, hot, high of 96. Mostly clear for this evening with a low of 59. Tomorrow, another warm one. High of 100 with an overnight low of 60. For Saturday and Sunday, this high-pressure system is still going to hang around. High of 97 with an overnight low of 60 for both days. That's what your weather for is Deb at the Ranch.
Take a lot of water with you. I mean, like if you're going to be driving someplace, take some water in your car or your pickup. Do not get dehydrated. Try to stay as cool as you can because the temperatures are going to be up in a danger zone red area of 95 plus. We might see the century mark. We might even see an exceedance of the century mark. So please be careful out there. The weather forecast brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Oh, delicious meats, changing the way we eat one bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. All right, your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Like to hear from you about any subject that you want to talk about this morning, whether it's Dr. Fauci saying that now maybe we ought to consider wearing goggles or eye shields along with masks. How do you like living in a bubble? How do you like living in a hazmat suit? Give me a jingle. We'll talk about any one of these things, please, in the time remaining for this morning. Let's see what else have I got. I made a comment earlier this morning, and I stand behind it, that we do have some of the best politicals in this area. We are very, very blessed. I don't think anyone can argue with me that the senators and congressmen from this area, they are always open and amenable to coming on this program, answering questions, and talking to their constituents. So in some respects, we might criticize the national level, but on a state level, we have some of the very best right here in Magic Valley. Once again, calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I apologize with our guest. Everything was set up and ready to go. Deanne, we can't find him, right? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate all your effort. One more time, I'll remind everybody that this Saturday at the Twin Falls City Park, excuse me, they're going to have a program called Freedom is the Cure. And it's going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to have Lieutenant Governor Janice McEachin there. They're going to have Jeanette Finicum, widow of Lavoy Finicum, and we're going to have Pastor Paul Thompson that's been on our program many times. He's a candidate for District 24 House of Representatives. Christy Zitto's going to be there. Judy Boyle's going to be there. So don't forget, Saturday in the Twin Falls City Park, this Freedom is the Cure. You be there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, this is Zeb Belch.
Yes, sir, it is. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to call you. I think you've got probably the best program on the air. I don't call you that often. I have before. I will say this, too. Until I'm talking about these politicians that are arguing back and forth on like this vaccine. I heard a couple of days ago that one says, "Oh yeah, it's nothing wrong with it. You can use it." And then somebody else just a day ago says, "No, you don't. It'll do you more harm than good." And until they can stop doing that, you're going to see this go on forever.
I totally agree with you. And I will say this for your point that you're bringing up this morning, and I give you kudos for it. I wish the politicians would look in the mirror, realize who they are and what they are not. They are not doctors. They are not researchers in medical science. And I would advise congressmen and senators to keep their doggone mouths shut.
Right. And this guy, what is it? I never can pronounce his name. With the goggles.
Oh, Dr. Fauci.
Fauci, yeah. That is about as comical as it's going to get. I got to wonder about, is he really a doctor? I mean, when I hear something like that, it sounds like a bad skit, off of a comedy show or something.
Well, and I have a tendency to agree with you. I just think that this thing has got completely out of hand to where they've put all the faith, if you will, in one or two individuals. And I would love to see medical science and researchers and doctors from Johns Hopkins or Stanford University or wherever step up to the plate and ask for interviews and start discussing some of the various means of way we can combat this coronavirus. I don't want to limit it to one voice.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, I'll let you go. I got a dozen things to do here, but I thought I'd give you a call.
I appreciate you, sir, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Nice man. And I just would like to see more people getting involved. I'd like to see more doctors getting on the air. I'd like to see that doctor that I had on here yesterday, Dr. Artis, on national TV. I'd like to see a lot of researchers getting on TV. I want to hear more on the radio. I'd like to have it just deluged so we could all hear about what's going on and what the research is and what kind of innovative thoughts they've got. I don't want to listen to just one man. I don't want to listen to just Dr. Fauci. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, this Dr. Fauci, I don't think we ought to pay any more attention to him. I mean, wanting us to wear goggles and all along with a mask, that's crazy talk. I ain't going to do that.
Well, I've reached the point of limitation right now, Rod, to where I absolutely am not going to be told or compelled that I have to do this. I'm going to do it for my safety as far as wearing a mask when I'm in the middle of a large congregate of people. I'm going to take the protection for my wife and myself, but I'm not going to be told to leave that mask on 24/7, 365, and I'm certainly not going to be compelled to wear goggles.
I can see wearing a mask when you are in a store where there's a lot of people or whatever, but having to wear goggles and all that and wearing a mask whenever you go outside and all,
yeah,
that's going way too far.
Rodney, thank you. I got another call. I got to get in real quick, but thank you very much for your call. Caller, I've got 30 seconds real fast. Go ahead, please.
Well, in Sweden, they never shut down, they never distanced, they never wore masks. The people that were concerned took care of themselves, and they had responsibility. Sweden has passed it. Their death rate is virtually nil. but we never hear about it unless it's, something else.
Amen.
So, and then I've always known that it goes through your eyes, and it goes through your ears. It's microscopic. I mean, the masks don't help. And then if, like you said yesterday, a guest on your program was talking about how they were recycling masks in the hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. Randy, I appreciate your call. I always wish you'd call a little earlier so I could get more of you on the air. Thank you, my friend. I got to run. Thank you so much.
I'm busy and I'm grateful.
Okay. Thanks, Randy. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And I mean that. They are our major sponsor, and they ask you, are you ready for summer travel? Well, if not, they've got all the best of tires, all the different tread designs, all the sizes for your cars and your pickups, your SUVs, boat trailers, horse trailers. It's all there at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They really care, and they've got the high-trained technicians for your brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. It's all there again at all 7 locations. All you have to do is stop in. They're going to treat you with the best of service. James and Buell, Dan on Pole Line in Twin Falls, Lane and Rupert, Mike and Jerome, Dave on Blue Lakes in Twin Falls, the Twist family in Paul, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run. The week's over for me, and we're going to be back Monday next week with more Zeb at the Ranch, where we always say the way things were or the way things ought to be. And the 4 words that mean the most to us: in God we trust. Be safe, drink a lot of water, stay in the shade, enjoy hot weather. Zeb at the Ranch, we'll see you Monday at 8:06.